hey, I'm in the library parkade. I got 3 books on boating because right now I'm fascinated by boating. Also got myself a surfing documentary to watch tonight. So we're going to start with Safe Skipper, a practical guide to managing risk at sea. And we're just going to flip to a random page. We're going to read 1 page of each book. Here we go. Boom. There's some pictures. This is going to take a while, so be ready. This guy's got a radio. He says, when using a radio, operators should speak clearly at normal conversation level. Emphasize words with weak syllables and familiarize yourself with standard message procedures. Okay. I worked as a guide, and radio talk is important. Okay, VHF DSC. Sorry, this is going to be dry, but this is the only way to learn. Learning isn't always this pleasant, fun thing. Sometimes it's painful. VHF DSS radio is now the main means of communication at sea, including by the rescue services. The skipper and designated radio operator must be qualified to use the equipment. VHF DSC radios are available as fixed radios attached to a vessel or as handheld personal radios. Fixed radios are generally more powerful and have a better range than handheld radios. The fixed radio's range is greatly improved when its antenna is fixed to the top of a tall mast. Handheld radios are smaller, portable. Most are waterproof and can be very useful in an emergency. When a VHF DSC radio is turned on, it automatically monitors channel 70 for emergency calls. If another vessel transmits a digital alert, then this is picked up by the receiver and causes a high-pitched audio alarm to sound. The position of the vessel in distress and the time of the signal are given in text format. Voice communications can continue on channel 16 as with a standard VHF radio. In an emergency, anyone may use a VHF DSC radio to call for help on channel 16. A VHF DSC radio may be operated by a non-qualified user under the supervision of a qualified operator. In an emergency, press the VHF DSC's radio's red button for 15 seconds and then transmit a voice message on channel 16. There, I just read a page. Okay, we just learned a microfiber bit of communications for safe boating, managing risk at sea. That wasn't too painful. Now we're going to do a random page of power boating, your first book for your first boat. Boom, random page. Here we go. Forward a couple of thousand epochs, eras, and millennia. Well, you get the idea. To when the first oil well finally popped the cork. It's a dirty business getting the product refined and to market in its many forms to run the world as we know it. During the refining process, at those expansive plants with their cloud-spewing towers, seemingly miles of above-ground pipes, and fields of storage tanks, the crude oil is processed into the lifeblood of just about everything we use in our everyday lives. And among all the other products that come out of the spigot, there is the stuff that we are most concerned with, gasoline and diesel fuel. The problem, and the reason why you might want to use a fuel additive or conditioner, begins with the refining process. Because the refiners are trying to get out as much of a barrel of crude that they can, today's aggressive process of splitting open the molecules using catalysts and high temperatures is far different than the distilling methods of years ago, and can create more instability in the after products, said Barry Spagg. said Barry Sprague as we discussed the matter. Sprague is a chemist and a consultant to NJ-based Technol fuel conditioners. But wait, as said in those obnoxious infomercials, there's more. Moving downstream from the refining process are a host of ills waiting to be visited upon our precious gasoline and diesel fuel. For example, with those of you who use gasoline in your inboard and outboard engines, the government-mandated fuel contains oxygenated additives, offshoots of methyl and ethyl alcohol. Add some heat and moisture along with sometimes lengthy storage time the gasoline is sitting around, from refinery tanks to tanker trucks to your marina tanks. Not only are you liable to get less efficient fuel, but a bit on the dirty side as well. With those who run gasoline engines, you might want to consider a treatment with every oil change, said Sprague. You really want to help control that moisture, as the alcohol can separate out with only the minimal amount of water. For diesel fuel oil, and along with the same issues associated with gasoline storage, there are the low sulfur levels, also courtesy of the EPA, combined with the product's affinity for water, sludge, and biogrowth, bacteria and fungi, that can also present problems. What we want to do here is even out the playing field for performance. How the fuel is handled once it gets to the end user in regards to its stability, and trying to control any contaminants, said Sprague. So here's where our additives, stabilizers, treatments, and conditioners come into play. The first thing you want to do is keep a careful watch on your primary and secondary fuel filters, if you are so equipped. Drain your raccords or similar systems should any sign of water be present. Okay. We're learning. Random book in this. It says a stream speaker cruising. Kind of cool. Looks like sailing. Here we go. Random page. Boom. Sechelt Village. Been to a wedding there. Congratulations, James. Okay. Nestled on a narrow strip of land between the Strait of Georgia and southern Sechelt Inlet lies the colorful village of Sechelt. The land between two waters. On an isthmus only a kilometer wide at the center, this fascinating destination has an extensive shoreline. But there is no easy, protected anchorage on the Strait of Georgia side for the recreational boater. On a rare calm day, it is fun to anchor off the beach and take the dinghy ashore, as in the early pioneering days. A comfortable alternative is the affordable bus trip from Gibson's or Secret Cove. The village is also an easy walk from Porpoise Bay, Sechelt Inlet, but you have to get your boat there first. An enjoyable day exploring Sechelt could start with a stroll along the charming waterfront boulevard, stopping off at the Trail Bay Pier before heading to Beachside Cafe in the Driftwood Motor Inn, overlooking the Strait of Georgia. The Heritage Rockwood Lodge and Gardens, famous for hosting the annual Sunshine Coast Festival of Written Arts, has beautiful grounds with flowers and trees in bloom year-round. Then on to the unique red cedar log building that houses the Sunshine Coast Arts Council and its rotating display of fine local and regional art. In May 1986, the pioneering Sechelt First Nation became a self-governing body with all the rights of any other Canadian municipality, the first in this country. The best way to learn more about their rich history and culture is to explore the House of Hiwewis and the Temsui Museum, that presents a comprehensive collection chronicling the heritage of the Seychelles Nation. The popular Raven's Cry Theatre hosts cultural activities and movie theater. And the Stain Co. gift shop has a great selection of First Nations arts and books. Across the street are the Sechelt Hospital and the Stain Co. Village Shopping Center, with large supermarket, clothing store, and a dollar store. Back in the downtown core, the Old Boot Eatery offers Italian food. There are also sushi and Chinese food restaurants. Visit the Sechelt Fish Market for the catch of the day, and there are a number of possibilities for coffee and fresh baking. Tailwind Books on Trail Avenue has a great selection of books and guides. Trail Bay Center includes a large supermarket, drugstore, and a liquor store. Okay, boom. 10 minutes of reading that I would never do unless I was being filmed. Just learned so much. I'm stoked. Okay, until next time, thank you for tuning in.